Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, patuloy ang paglaban. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, patuloy ang paglaban. Maging matatag sa pag-attend sa learning camp. Hindi dapat susuko abutin ang pangarap. Maging matatag sa pag-attend sa learning camp. Hindi dapat susuko abutin ang pangarap. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, tuloy ang paglaban. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, tuloy ang paglaban. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag.
Good morning, Zamboanga Division. Tara na, mag-learning camp na!
We welcome you all to the second episode of this Kumustahan and Kapehan sa National Learning Camp, and this is brought to you by the Division of Zamboanga del Sur.
Good morning, Sir Ton. It's an honor to be your co-host again in the episode 2 of this Kumustahan and Kapehan sa NLC.
The feeling is always mutual, Kat, no? So our pilot episode, don't you know that it went viral?
Yes.
So I'm sure today we will expect more and more viewers.
Of course, this Kumustahan and Kapehan sa NLC is an initiative of our superintendent where she envisions to have small talks over coffee about the implementation and progress of NLC, and this is simultaneous across schools in this division.
You're absolutely right, my dear Kathleen. No, this is a weekly event, this Kapehan, and every week we will feature different personalities who will share to us a word or two about the implementation of this National Learning Camp. And this will be aired via Zamboanga del Sur YouTube channel. Also can be watched on Facebook Live and through MS Teams.
So we are inviting everybody to sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Of course, our episode today, ladies and gentlemen, will never be complete without giving sincere acknowledgement and warmest morning greetings to our Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Janeline A. Aliman.
Assistant Schools Division Superintendents Dr. Raymond M. Salvador and Dr. Jerry C. Boquinquito.
Our division chiefs we have in the house, Dr. Juliet A. Magallanes for curriculum implementation, and also our Dr. Gay A. Abduhan for governance and operations, who are our guests for today's episode.
Education program supervisors, public schools district supervisors, and school heads.
To all our division personnel,
Our teachers, the National Learning Camp heroes.
stakeholders, and to all our students as well.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Sure
greetings to
for
everyone.
everyone. So it is indeed with great pride and honor to introduce to you our special special guest for today?
They are considered to be the pillars of our division in terms of curriculum implementation. Ika nga, wala nang hihigit pa sa taglay nilang dunong.
And because of that, no, we are very proud to say that the division of Zamboanga del Sur is being led by education leaders who are really committed to give quality education for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help us in welcoming our Chief for Curriculum and Implementation Division, Dr. Juliet A. Magallanes.
And we are also very proud to inform our viewing public that we have in the house this morning our Chief Trainer for English or Reading. We have Dr. Minda S. Castillo.
Dr. Lito P. Bahian, our Chief Trainer for Science.
And our Chief Trainer for Mathematics, Dr. Sandy Alvarico.
Education Program Supervisor in charge of the Learning Resources, F. Florencio Caballero.
Okay, so we have to welcome them in our studio, ladies and gentlemen. So let's all give them a round of applause. Chief, good morning.
Good morning, Chief.
You may take your seat. We have X. Minda Castillo, PSTS Lito Bahian, Dr. Sandy Alvarico also, and our X in Learning Resource, Dr. Florencio Caballero. Okay, pwede pa sigurong ano. Okay, so everyone is already set, no?
All right. Okay, ma'am and sir, why don't you greet our viewers now from all corners of Zamboanga del Sur who are watching this live? Ma'am Chief.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, we would like to express our heartfelt thanks for this opportunity for us to join this first ever Kapehan with the National Learning Camp implementation. Good morning, everyone, especially to our district supervisors, school heads, teachers, parents, and learners. I know that right now they're very busy
Yes.
working on the different subjects, introducing fun-filled activities. So everyone, good morning.
Ma'am Minda.
Hello, good morning everyone, especially to the English group.
Okay, si Sir Sandy.
Good morning, everyone.
Sir Lloyd.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, especially the LR team in the whole of Zamboanga del Sur, who is also very busy assisting our campers and teacher volunteers for the National Learning Camp.
Okay, also Sir Lito.
Good morning, everyone, especially to our science enthusiasts there.
Okay, so you know what is the beauty that I can see at this point in time? We are so very close with each other.
Yeah. I just hope the gasa tayo sa screen. Oh my gosh.
You know, okay, so it seems that all of us in the schools division office and even in the field are very much involved in the implementation of the National Learning Camp. No? So not even one of us are just sitting in our table. No? So that is why our superintendent is very proud to tell to the public that we are get involved in this activity. So many questions has been circulating the field, no, and I believe that there is a need for us to answer this question, to give them this information. So can we still accept, no, because the NLC has started last Monday, so can we still accept grade 7 or any of the grade level learners who would want to join in the NLC? So even if they were not able to join the first week of its implementation, so can we still accept any interested learners, Chief?
I just would like to answer that question. Actually, we presented that issue to our schools division superintendent, and her answer is yes, especially if there are still learners interested to join.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to also give them deadline, because we cannot just simply accept learners even at the middle of the implementation. So in other words, perhaps for this week we can still give them chance to participate.
Alright, I think that's
I'd like to
loud
add
here.
also,
Okay,
let's
Sir
hear it.
Lito.
Because there are students who are, of course, observing our first week of implementation. So the deciding factor will be, of course, from our students, if they will really enjoy our NLC implementation. So it's a yes.
Perhaps others were yet undecided during the first days. However, as the activities went on, they might have been convinced by other classmates, friends.
Maybe it's because this is the first time that we have implemented this activity.
Yes.
And the people in the community are observing how it will be done.
Yes.
Okay, so what about you, sir? Do you have something to add in the particular
Of course, in as much as we want maximum participation of our learners, given that the main purpose of our National Learning Camp is to bring back the learning loss, to regain the learning loss. So I think it is proper for us to accept the learners who decidedly to join.
Yes, Sir San?
I think they have already answered.
Alright, so I
Yeah.
think that's loud and clear. So sa mga learners dyan na nanonood, pwede pa pong sumali.
Yes.
Alright. So this next question is about the meal expenses. Our teachers in the field are asking about this.
Yeah.
Are all teacher applicants who have registered to serve as volunteers included in the allocation for meal expenses?
The trainers.
Okay, I think Sir Sandy can give the answer for that.
Go ahead, Sir San.
The question is about the
Teacher applicants po. Are they also included in the meal expenses?
actually I think it was already discussed that this NLC is for grade 7 and grade 8. All packages are shouldered by the national government, but if in case there are initiative from the division for grades 4 to 6, 9 to 10, and for the senior high school for enrichment and remedial, I think it's also covered, but minus the learning materials and the training. So as long as there is still a budget, we can still receive.
Yes, Chief.
More.
I just would like to emphasize that the question is on teacher applicants,
Yes.
not regular teachers. Now, I
Are
just
they
would like to
covered?
inform them that based on the submitted list of teachers who volunteered to serve the National Learning Camp, this is to inform our teacher applicants that they are not really included in the meal allowance. Only those regular teachers with subject load are included in the meal allowance because the names of regular teachers are already submitted
To the central
to the central office. And these teacher applicants are still applicants and they just offer their services just to help our learning camp. So we're sorry to inform them that they're not really included in the meal allowance. But however, they will receive certificate of recognition signed by our school's division superintendent and not exactly signed by the central office also because they volunteered, local volunteers, so they will be given certificate of recognition signed by our school's division superintendent.
All right. We have teachers who have registered, but were not given loads. So how true is the information that only those who have teaching loads are entitled to receive the meal allowance po?
We need to look into the situation. If this particular teacher assigned to take the other activities like managing fun field activities and then rendering 6 to 8 hours a day, they can still qualify to receive the incentives. However, if it exceeded the number of volunteers, like for example, in a class there is only 10 learners, and And these learners are managed by 10 teachers. Of course, hindi naman siguro pwede na lahat ng mga teachers mag 1:1. So, ang titingnan natin, pag ang 10 lang ang learners, so naturally, we will just allow teachers who will handle English, science, and mathematics. The rest of the teachers, ika nga, volunteer. So hindi na lang tayo muna mag-reserve. Kasi hindi naman pwede na pag 10 ang learners, 10 din ang teachers.
So
Okay.
it always depends on the situation how
Yes.
the respective schools.
We also consider reasonable ratio of learners to teachers.
So it is much better that as early as today, kasi this question has been circulating in the field. That is why we need to answer this to give them the accurate information so that the people also will be guided on how this thing shall be implemented properly in schools. Thank you for that answer, Chief and Sir Lloyd.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just don't know if you also have received that chat messages informing that fake news, that fake news, or in fact that was clarified by our SDS, no? So what was your initial reaction then when the fake news that circulated online about the NLC being on hold? I believe that all of us maybe have received that
Yes.
message.
Yeah.
Who can give clarifications,
sige.
more clarifications for that?
Okay, so actually, I was still in the training when a
And you
teacher
received the message.
said to me or
Yes.
forwarded to me that message. Then I said, let's read carefully how the message was being made, and looking into the structure and the content of the message, I know it was fake because the central office would not release such kind of message. Looking into the introduction mismo, good day,
Correct.
GUD, parang text parang chat lang. So I said stop forwarding because this is for sure a fake news.
Okay. So you have something to
Yes,
answer?
of course, during our training also in science, it was forwarded many times.
Many times.
And I told
It's
the
spread.
class group, that the science class, that do not believe on this because this is one way of, it's a propaganda actually to postpone the NLC. And my definite answer was there was no advisory or official advisory or memorandum from central office that putting the NLC implementation on hold.
Yes.
So it's definitely a fake news, and we should not believe on those news.
Additional Chief.
Actually, my initial reaction was to warn really our public schools district supervisors and school heads to ignore whatever text messages circulating, considering that the central office issued this DepEd Order 14 series of 2023 to officially implement the National Learning Camp. So if this will be postponed or cancelled, naturally the central office will also send
Correct.
an official memo
Statement.
or statement that this will not be implemented or on hold. So that's really my reaction, to warn them not to entertain any fake news.
Correct. Kasi nakakalito yan. It serves as confusion, no? Basis for confusion of our people in the field. So, what about you, sir? Do you have something to add about the news?
I was not bothered anyway. Because we always believe that communication should be channeled through offices.
Yes.
And should not be done that way.
Yeah.
Ganun ka ang isipan ni Sir Sandy.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir Lloyd?
I received actually the message last Saturday 2 p.m. to in the afternoon from one of our district LR coordinators asking me if the message is indeed true. And so I just calmed him down. Do not easily believe on that because anything can be posted in the social
Yes.
media. We have to be inquisitive. We have to be investigative because our mood is somehow affected by these messages. So I immediately forwarded the message to SDS to get some clarifications, and then immediately after that, I told the LR coordinators to please stop spreading that, because to me it's a baseless news, it's a fake news.
The keyword there is check the source.
Yeah,
Correct.
okay, correct.
All right, thank you. Okay, in the recently concluded mass training of teachers, we would like to congratulate our chief trainers for doing your job excellently. Even for a short period of time, still you guys have conducted a training of grade 7 and grade 8 teachers, particularly in English, science, and mathematics. May we ask, what was your most unforgettable experience during the training? Let's start with Sir Sandy.
Unforgettable.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Unforgettable. Wala pong tulugan until 2 o'clock in the evening. Considering the very short time in the preparation of the material. So, we even slept until 1 to 2 in the evening, morning na, because we had to print all the materials, considering we only have one printer. So that I think it was a baptism of fire. It was the first time to conduct a training of that big crowd, but we were able to do it, of course, with the program management team.
Okay, so very well said. But next
Well, a figure or a data of about 296 is quite big for a usual training that we do in DepEd. But at least we find ways, no? Well, number one there is, that's correct, sleepless nights, because you have to prepare, you have to follow up. Sino pa yung wala pa sa hindi pa nakarating. And then, of course, as a program head, kailangan mo rin tingnan yung mga meal, yung mga food, kung dumating na ba, yung mga snacks, yung mga supplies and materials. So, ang daming mga
dapat
i-consider. But anyway, at any rate, we have finished and we have done as expected, within the duration of time.
Yes, Sir Sandy.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Walang kawala.
But one thing that I noticed is the cooperation, yung collaboration from other offices like the nurses and the SGOD personnel. Although we have a lot of things to deliver, but there are people around who help us, and we achieve all those objectives because of that collaboration. One thing that I can tell you about my experience was the realization of one participant that after the training, because in the beginning they don't know what is this and what is all about, what is NLC all about. But after the orientation, even without those service credits, certificates, they will voluntarily subject themselves to be with that, to participate in the LS, especially when Sir Raymond give us the message, inspirational message that it's about who am I. It's not just about the incentives, but it's about bringing together the students who have missed all those topics, not mastered, and then be able to provide quality instruction. So that's the thing that I can always remember.
Yes. Indeed, our camaraderie and partnership was strengthened because of this national learning camp.
And the interfacing of this.
Yes.
It is truly unforgettable. No? So we are linking from the unforgettable experience that the success stories of conducting that particular trainings, even in a short period of time. What do you think were the facilitating factors? We'll now proceed to the facilitating factors that contributed immensely to the successful implementation of the training. And I believe there's more of that. So we have to ask first the chief, because she's been looking all the things that are happening.
Overseeing.
It is really hard to enumerate, but then we would like to extend our heartfelt thanks first and foremost to the very indefatigable support and leadership of our schools division superintendent.
Yes, that's very positive.
Okay? The assistance, the 101% assistance provided to us, especially in the procurement of materials, in the preparation of the venues, and all of those. Siya talaga yung nagli-lead. And of course, we would like also to recognize the assistance given to us, the support of our two very active assistant schools division superintendents who are also there attending the different sessions, giving us a message, hopping from one venue to another venue despite so many responsibilities in the office. And then also my partner here in the schools governance and operations division, Dr. Gay Abduhan, for allowing her people, especially the one in charge in the different sections like the training, HRTD, the SMME, the nurses, and all those. Meron talagang interfacing. So, because this is just one of the sub-programs of the central office. And we cannot just simply ignore this. We need to accept the fact that since this is a mandate, so we need to implement. And we need the participation of everyone. Because this particular activity cannot just be done by one group or one section alone. We need first and foremost the very big support, the strong support of the top management, and that made it really we consider that as very big factor kung nagiging successful yung program, yung trainings most especially.
So complementary relationship, interfacing across the functional divisions. Sir San, I believe that you have still more to add with the statement of our chief.
Facilitating factors.
I think the chief has already mentioned all this. So I think with that training, I have also experienced that word of collaboration. Yung all offices working together for of that training. So kitang-kita ko yan. And then and that is because of the leadership.
Yes.
Leadership of our
Kasi ulang tulugan ang SDS, ulang tulugan.
Yes.
We were in different places that time. We used the hybrid communication and hindi yan nagkulang.
I think it's also a domino effect.
And of course, during the conduct of the training, before the conduct of the training, we also have this virtual meetings until 12.
Every night.
There was one time 12. Yeah, 12.
Yes,
that's it. That is how our superintendent value so much the NLC. Because in the first place, siya yung sold out na dito sa implementation, kaya we call it collaborative expertise from our sa group namin lahat.
Of course, the very big facilitating factor is the support coming from the top management. We have our superintendent who keeps on calling us, kumusta na mo, She used to call us, aside from her presence in our respective venues. And also our chief, she could not be in two places at the same time, but she was able to call us and to reach us out as to how the training was going on with that very big crowd. Kasi ngayon, first time to have handled such a crowd. And of course, the support of the people around, like the SGOD chiefs, sending us each group coming from the SGOD, the nurses, And of course, from the OSDS, with the support of Ma'am Shane, who was just one call away when we were asking her as to how the travel documents could be prepared or could be processed. She was there outright, and really with the team, of course, in our English group, the support from the program management team. And the people there that I utilize, like for example, the supervisors, the school heads who helped us out in some of the activities, and 100% participation of our participants.
So,
those were facilitating.
Based on listening from all the statements that you have uttered, we really have started the NLC with a very strong foundation.
Yes.
Started with the plan
Yes.
alone, and it seems that all the activities indicated that the plan has been implemented.
And,
So,
I also would like
nakakataba ng puso.
to, I also would like to add, aside from the strong support from the top management and our other partners, also the financial aspect, because we were given enough funds for us to move. Like for example, we received budget, the central office allotted us enough budget for us to be able to really conduct the trainings for our grade 7 and 8 teachers. And there's also a corresponding budget for the meal allowance of our teachers. In fact, at first, we prioritized only.
Okay, so we have to continue on discussing about the facilitating factors that contributed immensely to the successful implementation of the training chief. You have some ideas that you can share to our viewing public.
Aside from the strong support from the top management, we would also like to acknowledge the support from our local government, especially the big support of our,
During the launching.
especially during the launching of the NLC. Our governor attended,
Congressman.
the two representatives of the Congress, the Congresswoman of the 1st District, Divina Grace Yu, and of course the 2nd District, and as well as all the mayors of the 26 municipalities. And also our regional director is also very busy, and we're really very happy for her attendance, as well as people from the Curriculum Implementation Division,
Attorney Dang Mariano.
Mm-hmm.
Committee chair.
the chief of the CLMD,
Kumbaga, we can say that particular
Sir Eugene.
activity was well attended.
yes, and above all the financial support from the central office, because we provided us huge, not just simply huge amount, exact amount just to finance all our activities, because activities cannot be implemented without
the funds.
enough funds.
Correct.
So like for example, they provided us funds for the trainings of all our grade 7 and 8 teachers, and aside from the trainings, funds also for the meal allowance of our teachers, because we thought that only grade 7 and 8 teachers will be provided with the a meal allowance. But we exceeded the target, so we also shared the same to other teachers, especially the other end of school year activities. So the key stage 1 and the other grade levels. And all those activities made it possible because of the enough funds from the central office.
And the careful planning also.
Yeah.
For example, another one is the realization of our NLC jingle. As well.
Yeah.
All of the plotted or drafted activities
We were congratulated by the higher officers for that initiative.
and even the director of BLD, Director Marilyn Xiao. Oh, wow.
She
Congratulations.
commented in my post at the end.
I believe this Kumustahan and Kapehan is also part of the plan.
Yes, of course.
Yes, actually, our schools division superintendent, during our convergence in Davao, our Region 9 was represented by our schools division superintendent, Dr. Janeline Aliman. And when she discussed and presented the plan, there are actually activities introduced not captured in other regions. So talagang na-impress yung director natin sa central office kasi meron tayong mga activities na talagang kakaiba sa Region 9. And like for example, yung jingle kasi we were the first region or division na nag-introduce ng jingle, and then in fact we immediately our musicians came up with a very good jingle
In a short span of time.
despite the fact that we only have 3 to 4 or 2 days preparation. Lahat na yun, na-impress talaga yung
Talagang
natin.
sure sa SOR.
Yes. Sure talaga sa SOR because of the leadership of our very active.
Sabi ni SDS natin during our pilot episode of this Kapehan, she really don't want that the plan will just put into waste.
Yes.
In fact, we also have that overtime preparing the action plan because that will be presented the next morning.
All right. I'm sure the collaboration that we are showing were also felt by our teachers in the field, and hopefully this will be emanated to our learners. All right. This next question is for our LR supervisor, Sir Lloyd. This is probably one of the most asked questions in the field, Sir Lloyd. Can you share to us the status of our printed materials?
Okay. I'd like to start with the premise on our preparation. No? Given we have a very short span of time, and given also Zamboanga del Sur is a very big division.
Correct.
And when I was asked to prepare for the purchase request of the materials, we focus first on grade 7 and 8 ESM, English, Science, and Mathematics, because that time, these are the only materials available at hand. And so when we prepared the PR, I consulted with, of course, the SDS, what's the mode of our procurement, and with the BAC, we had an emergency meeting. I was invited by the BAC to present the plan, and luckily, we have one supplier who actually joined with us as invited. And I'd like to give this picture to the whole of Zamboanga del Sur so that everyone will really understand why, until this point of time, we have difficulty in finishing the printing of the materials and delivering it to the schools. Actually, we first prepared PR worth 9 million plus for the grade 7 and grade 8 English, Science, and Mathematics. But when I asked the supplier when can they deliver the printed materials, they cannot ascertain the date. But we cannot do otherwise. We have to depend on them because sila ang available printer. Yesterday, actually, when I asked for update, actually they're about to load the materials for delivery to our distribution hub identified in Dumalinaw and Tawaga Norte. The Tawaga Norte will cater schools in the first district, and Dumalinaw will cater schools in the second district. However, due to heavy rains, they had a difficulty loading the materials to their trucks. And so, hopefully today, they can deliver the material. Please also understand, it's not easy to produce such because with the PR that we had, according to the supplier, they will print around 22 million pages for the PRs, for the 9 million PRs. So printing 22 million pages is such a huge number.
And how many number of days?
It entails time. Actually, the number of days I keep on asking them, please expedite, please double time, please hire more people. Actually, according to the printer, they hired actually more than enough, but the machines can only do this much. So we will just keep our fingers crossed that the materials will be delivered once they are all available. Rest assured, at our end, we are doing the best that we can in order to help the ground in order to help the teachers. But on the other side, I know that our teachers are very resourceful. They are so understanding given the limited time. And
Correct.
above all, this is our first time
Yes.
to have this NLC. And we all know that pag first time, we really experience birth pains along the way. We just have to be discerning. We just have to be more understanding of the situation, and let us think of in what ways can we be of help in a situation rather than bombarding negative comments to the top
Correct.
management,
It won't
which
help.
is of course definitely not helpful.
Correct.
So that is it.
So hashtag patience is a virtue.
yeah, patience is a virtue. And of course, education is everybody's business.
Yes.
So let us understand what's our role. What can we do to contribute to the success of this activity?
Thank you, Sir Loy, for the assurance. I know our teachers are all willing to wait for the
Okay, so that is why it is much better if they can hear it from us. No, they
Yeah,
because if they will be asking that to the other people, definitely
They
they
might
cannot
receive
address the issue.
Because
wrong
It should be
info.
coming from you, being the in charge of the particular activity. So we're talking about this printed material. So I think there's a need for us to inform the public as to who will be the recipient of these materials that you're talking. Can you share it to our viewers?
Okay. Yeah, in addition,
What grade
actually,
levels are these materials intended?
our focus for NLC is for grade 7 and 8, English, science, and mathematics. The reason why these are the materials readily available at hand during the onset of our preparation. In a little later, we receive materials for the reading intervention. Of course, through our lead trainer in the reading, Ma'am
Grade one,
Minda. Grade 1, grades 2, and grade 3. They're still ongoing printing of the materials. We have actually ordered worth almost 4 million for that. Reading materials for grades 1, 2, and 3. In addition, there is also budget allocated for mathematics grades 1 to 3, including assessment tools. The materials arrived just very recently, and of course with mathematics supervisor Sir Sandy, we are currently reviewing the material. We plan to relay out because as instructed by the regional office that if the material requires layouting in such a way, it will make it printable, ready to print version. So that's what we are also doing right now. We have a budget for that worth 6 million. In addition, the leadership of our schools division superintendent, Dr. Aliman, really pushed our education program supervisors to really prepare materials for other grade levels because we have a budget allocated for that worth 10 million.
Alright.
So this budget is intended for the printing of learning resources for other grade levels.
That's
English,
good.
science, and mathematics is still are the focus for these materials. The mathematics have already produced that one, and we are currently preparing the purchase request for the materials. Science is also in the process of finalizing and quality assuring the materials, and so hopefully by next week, I guess teachers and campers have the materials to use for the National Learning Camp.
All right. I think that's good news.
Yeah. So other grade levels will really be provided with materials, but however, we need to really quality assure the materials because we cannot just simply print materials which are not in accordance with the most essential learning competencies. Okay, so we need to look into the quality of materials if it's really good to be printed.
Okay, so it is nice to hear, no? I think that is very informative on the part of the teachers. No, it is really coming from the SDO, no, the information. So, is the allocation of that materials, no, is the allocation of that materials more than enough for our campers.
Yeah, actually, based on the projected number of campers that we had, actually, based on my assessment, the materials will be more than enough for our campers. We have, of course, so far, we are the only division of Region 9 who received very huge budget for NLC. Okay.
We're thankful to the central office
Yeah.
for that.
Okay, there was a leaked information in the field that only those teachers who have attended the mass training are entitled for the meal allowance of 250 pesos per day. How true is this information?
Another fake news. Another fake news. Because we simply give the training to grade 7 and 8, whoever, those teachers who are willing to volunteer to handle other end of school year activities are still, they can still receive the
Meal
meal
allowance.
allowance. Oh, we
That's
only
loud and clear.
we only emphasized earlier the teacher applicants. But for those who are regular teachers and really rendered the 6 to 8 hours a day, of course they will receive,
Yes.
they are entitled
Regardless
to
if they
receive
have attended
the 250 pesos. Regardless if they attended the training or not.
Okay.
They fall under other end of school year activities.
Okay,
Yes.
so I think it is very clear at this point in time. So the information that our teachers has been receiving in the field, opposite to what you have mentioned, Chief, now I think it is already clear for them. So during our first episode, it was mentioned by Sir Jerry about the benefits that the teachers would get from participating or giving support to the implementation of this NLC. So talking about service credits, the teacher volunteers are asking also as to how many days they would gain by participating in the NLC for the whole duration.
Service credits.
Sir, the service credit, the teacher volunteers can also receive service credits.
Yeah, based on the memorandum,
Oh,
those who will be involved, regular teachers.
Regular.
Teachers.
volunteer.
Teacher applicants.
But still, if they're regular teachers, they can be considered volunteer
Yeah.
because the activity is voluntary.
Yes, yes.
If they are regular teachers, as far as I know from the memorandum, they will receive 25 days service credits.
Vacation service credits.
Vacation service credits on top of the 15 days
Yeah.
maximum allowable service credits to
If
be.
they completed the 5 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if they will only serve in the consolidation camp, wherein it will only last for 15 days.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they will also
Oh,
receive.
it depends.
It depends on
The number of days they participated.
I receive, sige Sir San, ikaw na.
I'd like to clarify sa 40
Yeah,
days.
that's 40.
The 15
figure.
days is intended or is given to teachers for the whole year. The maximum.
The maximum.
It's not part of the NLC.
Yes, yes.
The NLC is 25 days maximum.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
That's on top
That-
of the 15
That's
days.
That's only
Additional.
yeah.
Because last year, summer, if you volunteer for summer, you will only get a maximum of 15. 15 accumulated number.
Not all schools, I'd like to emphasize, not all teachers. Kasi baka, yung sinabi ko kanina na 10 students and then there are 10 teachers, hindi naman pwede yan. Yung iba tagapagluto na lang, yung iba tagapaglinis.
Sure.
Hindi yan kasama ha, please take note, hindi yan kasama. So only we will just give the incentives to those na naghahandle, actually serving, especially the 3 subjects. So the rest ay hindi naman natin pwede na ibigay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to add, Ma'am
Yes, Sir Lloyd.
on the 40, the figure ba 40 as mentioned by Sir Sandy, because I received a message from the field, particularly in Congressional District 1, that somehow they did not really understand what is that 40, what is that 25, and what is that 15 days. Because according to one teacher who approached me, they were told now that if they will join the NLC, they will receive 40 days vacation service credit. So I explained to them that you can have 40 if you accumulated 15
Yes.
days already.
Yes,
That includes
In
brigada,
other activities like brigada,
Scouting.
mga scouting activities, election, etc.
Session.
But joining the NLC entitles you to 25 days service
That's
credits
maximum.
maximum, not 40. So I think this needs to be clarified to the field.
I believe that when they will watch this, no, this episode, they will already be clarified
Yeah.
as to the
Yeah.
doubts
Yeah,
of
yeah,
related to this particular issue.
Correct.
No? Kasi hindi masyadong malinaw sa kanila kung paano talaga makuha yung 40. Bakit
Yes.
40?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
so it's good to hear that from the mouth of the experts.
from the horse's mouth.
It's not easy to earn 25 days service
Yes.
credits.
Correct. Okay, moving on. Any one of you can give clarification in terms of the loading of teachers as to how many minutes shall be given to teachers per day.
Actually, the learning camp is different from the regular conduct of classes, wherein teachers are really required to handle 6 to 8 classes a day. However, in the learning camp, as long as you serve the identified subjects, we're not counting on the number of loads. Like for example, if that teacher is assigned to manage science, so that will become her or his load, provided that the number of hours can be like for example, that particular teacher is serving 6 to 8 hours because like for example, we will include the preparation of the lesson plan, preparation of materials, the planning of the different activities. So, lahat ng oras na devote sa time niya, that can be counted as part of her or his load. So, wala po tayong definite loads as to how many loads na kailangan, na qualified yung teacher. So, this is different. Learning camp is different considering it's voluntary.
Yes.
So, loads ay talagang hindi kasama doon.
All right. Any additional input from our chief trainers?
Can I
Yes,
add?
Raysan.
Ang learning camp design kasi is a two-prong method wherein not only students will benefit, all teachers also will learn along the way. So that is why, as you can see in the schedule, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday intended for students. Monday,
Learner teacher engagement.
Monday and Friday will be intended for collaborative expertise where they are expected to provide job-embedded learning. So, like for example, if you can let me go into the details, like in math, we in the preparation of the lesson plans, it's already structured, but then teachers are allowed to modify, especially in
Textualize.
in the methodology and the giving of strategy. So all these things can be done during the lab session. So they will earn service credits during that day if they can also provide us job-embedded learning outputs like the modification of the lesson plans, and then during the Friday, they will come up also realization how effective are the lesson plans. So it's not just easy as being a volunteer will directly entitle you to get the service credits. There should be tangible outputs that we need to verify
MOVs.
Very well said, Sir Sam.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, some questions were raised, especially in the lower grades. Like for example, for grades 1, 2, and 3. Now, for grades 1, 2, and 3, we have different time allotment kasi we only focus on numeracy and literacy. That only focuses on reading and simple fundamental skills in mathematics. Now, according to the design given to us, teachers will only serve in the literacy or reading for 90 minutes and for numeracy 90 minutes. So that will only last for 180 minutes. So teaching, that's only for 3 hours. But the rest of that will be done in the preparation of their materials, because in the learning resource that were given to the teachers, only know to the teachers what they're going expected to do. So therefore, they're going to study as to how they're going to deliver the lessons to the learners, and of course with the material preparation, so that they are going to organize. So after that 90 plus 90, 180 minutes, the rest of the hours will be done to prepare the necessary materials and lesson preparation.
Kasi the way I understand it, kahit pa may suggested na activities, but still, the teachers has to study on how they can implement that based on the context and the level of learners.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
The 90,
That's why ideally there must be collaborative discussion among teachers during Mondays and Fridays.
Ang pinaka significant is structured. So that is why during Friday, they have to consider also how long are they going
Plan
to
activities.
add more activities. Because if they will not be able to follow the structured time, so there will be a lot of lessons that will be delivered. So considering that at the end of this program, there will be an assessment. So they have to
There should be an August.
right? So making sure all lessons that are structured for a particular grade level.
You should have taken
in fact, during the orientation, there were suggested activities that they need to undertake, especially in the collaborative session. Now, I just would like to add also the time allotment given for the reading and numeracy, especially in Key Stage 1. For remedial, however, each subject should be allotted 3 hours because that's remedial, and we give more time for our students to really address their learning gaps. So each subject is really allotted 3 hours.
Okay, so thank you so much. Painit ng painit. Ayan, no? Ako din nakikinig. Nakikinig kasi hindi talaga maiwasan na ang mga tao dito sa field. They've been texting or chatting us to ask the question. And one of that questions is this, no? Teachers are asking if only those who have participated in the trainings are being prioritized for the load assignment. How true is this? Okay, Mami.
Okay, so no, it's not true, because based on the number of teachers and the number of learners, we in the identification of teachers to attend the trainings based on the ratio, based on the ratio slots given to each school. Now, there are teachers who may not be identified because the slot is only for this number. But there are those who are not able to attend because it's already in the maximum. So when they go back, they are going to conduct relaxation.
All right, let's proceed to our next question. What might be the possible solution that we can advise to the schools if the number of learners who will join in the National Learning Camp is smaller than the number of teachers?
Yeah.
Yun.
Cheap. What can you advise?
Let's be just like what I've said earlier, that we need to look into the ratio because the maximum number of learners per class is 35. If there are more teachers compared to the number of learners, then perhaps those schools with bigger learners, perhaps
They can serve the nearby schools.
Yes.
Especially
Yes.
those schools who lack teacher volunteers. Anyway, their services can still be counted regardless of where they serve.
Kung saan kailangan yung services nila.
Doon
Sila.
kung saan nangangailangan. Oo.
That is why I also told school heads during their convergence, especially secondary, that we prioritize regular teachers first. We will not accommodate the applicants because we want to give them certificates. Let's look at the regular teachers who will serve. And then if wala, if we have shortage, then
That's the time.
that's the time we will
Yes.
invite
Local
volunteers.
applicants can only be accommodated if there are no regular
teachers.
teachers
Yes.
who can really manage the class.
There is lacking.
But we are also looking into the qualification of the applicants. Like if these applicants are really within the RQA. O, pag wala sila, hindi natin pwede isama. Kasi question din yan, lumabas din yan na our local executives are willing to provide incentives to local teachers, but we cannot accommodate all local teachers, especially if they are not within the RQA.
And they have not
So,
served.
Oh yes. So we are also looking into the qualifications of the teachers because we want teachers who will manage, especially English, the reading, science and mathematics, are also expert in terms of really managing the subject.
Yes.
And content din.
But in the case,
Yeah.
ma'am, of those locally paid teachers serving already for many years,
Yeah.
They are
I
priority.
think
Yeah.
they're priorities.
Yeah.
Because they know already there's
They have expertise
Yes.
already.
But we need to prioritize regular teachers.
So,
Kasi
Priority is clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pag marami na in isang school, then perhaps if they are willing to volunteer in other schools with more than the number of learners, then pwede yun.
Yes.
Pero kung yung school mo ay walang learners na and you exceeded the number of volunteers, then perhaps hindi pwede yan.
And then
Oh.
one consideration is not practical
It's not practical, really.
about your expertise of a certain teacher to teach.
Yes.
For example, if you are a TLE teacher, of course, when you talk about content, so
Yeah.
iba talaga yung dating niya. For example, if you're teaching science or mathematics, kasi the lesson plan is actually structured. So, doon sa explanation or deepening on the understanding of the lesson, medyo tagilid.
Kumbaga, we really have to
Content.
put the square peg in a
In
square
a round hole.
That's it.
Okay,
You
so
cannot give what you do not
correct.
have.
No,
Yes.
and we are almost getting nearer to the end of this first set. But before we will be ending this first set, based on our monitoring, I know all of us has been roaming around the field and conducted the monitoring for the first week of its implementation. Can you share to us? Can you share to the viewing public about your impressions on the first week of the conduct of the NLC? Okay, so I think we have to start from the F's in reading.
Yes.
Maminda.
Yeah, everybody was engrossed because during the kickoff, I was assigned in a particular district, and it was so amusing to see them during their motorcade, because it's a part of our plan again, no? Motorcade on that first day, very overwhelming. The support of the local officials who joined that motorcade only tells that they are in full support of our learning camp.
Okay.
Parang fiesta nga eh. With the balloons and all the community.
Yeah,
Yes.
correct.
What about this?
For science, for example, so other than those kick-off activity that they have in school, no? So nakita ko rin dito yung reality na they share each other. For example, we have GC for science. So everyone is giving their or sharing their PowerPoint for the particular slide, for the particular lesson. So the spirit of the NLC is very evident. No? So sharing of best practices, although they have their individual or respective district or school collaborative expertise, but of course they did not limit to that, but of course through din sa online collaboration. So that's one.
Chief.
The bayanihan sa NLC is really very important because looking at it, there's a strong support from the community stakeholders, not just people from the Department of Education. And I'm happy with the 32 district supervisors, all the school heads for really sharing their expertise, giving their full support, and of course the local executives, our local partners, for their donations, for the support extended. In fact, during the opening, ang dami, may marathon, may walkathon, at kung ano-ano pa na talaga just to inform the public that we are really into the implementation of the National Learning Camp. At ito lang po yung simula kasi the next school years, ang dami pang activities na i-implement natin.
Sir,
The spirit of the National Learning Camp indeed raised the level of excitement of our learners, our teachers, as well as our stakeholders. From our preparation to the launching in Aurora, where many were involved actually, including the LGU, PTA, presidents. So we could really see that during the opening program, during the simultaneous motorcade, many were really participating and they were so excited, and of course siguro due to their curiosity, what is this National Learning Camp all about? So we really raised the bar to a higher level.
talagang opening pa lang panalo.
Correct.
Yeah.
Raising the bar.
My experience in Tabina is quite different because they do the kick-off not simultaneous, but making sure that the visitor and then the PSDS can visit. Like for example, in Tabina, in the Poblacion, elementary is scheduled in the morning and then the high school was scheduled in the afternoon so that the PSDS and other visitors can join and can promote the NLC, especially on the guidelines. And then one thing I've noticed, it's a combination of brigada and first day of work. And I think that was the product of the collaboration of DOD and CID. For the three schools that I visited in Tabina, it's immaculately clean, ready.
Beautiful.
And plus the creativity of teachers to wear their uniform, the NLC uniform.
They have initiatives
They have
to
initiative.
print their own.
And plus in Tabina, they come up also with jingles.
Tabina Central.
Tabina Central
Okay.
School. And that was amazing.
Thank you everyone for sharing your impressions. And with that, let us pause for a while. Let's watch these video clips during the implementation of the NLC on its first week.
Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, patuloy ang paglaban. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, patuloy ang paglaban. Maging matatag sa pag-attend sa learning camp. Hindi dapat susuko abutin ang pangarap. Maging matatag sa pag-attend sa learning camp. Hindi dapat susuko abutin ang pangarap. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, tuloy ang paglaban. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, tuloy ang paglaban. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, tuloy ang paglaban. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, tuloy ang paglaban. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, tuloy ang paglaban. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, tuloy ang paglaban. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, patuloy ang paglaban. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, patuloy ang paglaban. Maging matatag sa pag-attend sa learning camp. Hindi dapat susuko abutin ang pangarap. Maging matatag sa pag-attend sa learning camp. Hindi dapat susuko abutin ang pangarap. Sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, tuloy ang paglaban. Kailangan mong malaman ang dapat pag-aralan. Huwag mag-alinlangan, tuloy ang paglaban. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Hindi ka mahirapan sa kailangan matutunan. Learning camp, masaya sa learning camp. Tulungan ang sarili na maging matatag.
Na maglilingkod sa National Learning Camp. Ng buong puso, katapatan at katatagan. Nasusuporta nito sa abot ng aking makakaya.
Mayong buntag kaninyong tanan. Karong adlaw ako na ang mudala sa mesa gumikan kaya ang inyong koroparogo at sa kolohan. Sa dili pa ako mo pambit sa akong wali kaninyo at una ako'y tigmo. Ato ni himuon nga nindot nga activity. Kung himuon sa namong adlaw mo report? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Karon lang nahitabo, Monday may report mo kay kick-off pa na to. So, next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday na mo. Nga naa-adere mo report. Dayon, panayuan na itong suporta ang atong mga amigo nga tuas sa gawasan na. Ang atong mga teachers makatabang na. I-check ninyo kinsa tong ato ang mga alumni nga tuan na sa gawas. Nag-aboard. On board.
And we are back in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you everyone for tuning in.
And at this point in time, my dear friends, we will welcome new guests from the School's Governance and Operations Division.
The SGOD family is indeed lucky to be led by a strong leader whose commitment and dedication are also beyond compare.
To our viewing public, let's give our virtual applause to the Chief of the SGOD, Dr. Gay A. Abduhan.
And joining with her is one of our school health nurses whose dedication and commitment towards her work is unquestionable.
Ladies and gents, let's welcome Nurse Kirsten D. Sabanao. Welcome to the studio, Chief, and Nurse Quang.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. You may take your seat.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Chief and Nurse Quang, why don't you meet our viewers who are watching this live in all the corners of Zamboanga del Sur?
Yeah, good morning, good morning. To all the teachers, first to the top management, SDS General Aliman, to the two ASDSS, ASDS Raymond Salvador, and ASDS Raymond Quito, to our beloved teachers, school heads, parents, and stakeholders, isang napakainit at umagang kay ganda po sa inyong lahat.
Talagang napakainit talaga na umaga ngayon.
Nurse Quang, yes, hello and good morning to each and everyone, to all of our viewers for this Kumustahan and Kapehan. A happy and a very healthy morning to each one of us, especially to the two of you guys and also to our Chief. Gay, good morning po, ma'am. It is really our pleasure to have you both in this studio.
Yeah, I really.
Yes, it is also a privilege, Ma'am Kat, to
Thank
be
you for
here as well.
inviting us here.
Okay, so during the first set, we have heard the statements of our guests from the CID. Okay, so they've been always mentioning about the word collaboration, and they were very thankful to the people from the SGOD with the leadership of Chief, of our support in their programs related to the implementation of NLC. Now, I think it is good that will be coming from us, from our Chief. The things that we have done, so that the role of the SGOD people in the implementation of this national learning camp. Chief, what are the things that we have done in support to the implementation of this NLC?
Yeah. Actually, ang frontline ko dito yung CID. But nakikita namin sa kanila na they are really very busy. Magkakaroon sila ng sleepless nights, kaya palagi yung gabi nag-meeting. So, iniisip din namin kung paano namin sila masusuportahan. So, ginawa namin na para mapagaan yung kanilang mga ginagawa kasi palaging busy. So, ang role ko ng SGOD ay i-help, nagsusuporto tayo in the kind of the orientation sa field, district by district, and also in the conduct of the training na nag-deploy din tayo ng mga tao sa SGOD to help the lead, the focal persons para po na tulungan sila kahit kunti lang mapapagaan yung ano nila. Kasi nakikita naman talaga namin yung pagod ng mga learning career supervisors. So yun, nasa all the time po, back up ko yung SGOD sa kanila.
Okay nga, ang sabi ni Chief, konti lang, but the people in the CID felt that concept. It gives big impact, no, on their part, being frontliners.
Not only during the training, but also our nurses were there.
Yes po, yes po.
Malagi po silang nandun.
24 hours pa habang naka-duty yung mga nurses who will be manning the different venues po.
And they were also, you were up also as one of the facilitators during the training. Not only our nurses, but also one of our HRD
HRD people.
no? So they were not only supporting the naging PNP sila, they were also top as facilitators.
Talagang todo talaga ang support.
And I think the CID group is very thankful for the interfacing, for the support that SGOD has been provided to them. Ma'am Kat, actually Ma'am Kat, no, we as Northern Health Section, we are very much happy and elated to hear from our trainers, no? Like Sir Sandy had mentioned, as the nurses who are really there to support them all the way. Nakita talaga yung presence, and at the same time, we also give technical assistance in the field, especially in the conduct of these field activities.
Yes.
Because it was also stated in the memorandum that we have to consider also the psychosocial aspect of our learners and the mental health as well of our teachers and learners. So, as nurses, we have given out our technical assistance, guiding them on how to conduct the psychosocial support activities, and we have given them the soft copies as the teacher's guide as on how they will have to conduct these fun field activities in the schools. And also, Ma'am Kat, in regards to the mental health of our teachers, we also have plans during the last session that we would be able to get in, also that we could give also activities solely for the teachers also, so that they can be unburden themselves now sometimes with the different works, loads, and responsibilities that they have, especially during the first week of the NLC.
But you know what? Banking on the statement from the people at the CID that the term interfacing, you know, that was happening because of the good relationship of our two chiefs. No, they were very close to each other. That is why our chief also knows when to give assistance to the people from the CID, and that is one of the factors that made the implementation of the NLC National Learning Camp successful.
Correct. And in relation to that, Nurse Queng, may we ask what health protocols do schools should ensure to maximize the safety of our teachers and our learners as well during the implementation of the National Learning Plan? Okay, so speaking of health protocols, so we have heard, I guess it was 4 days ago, that our President Bongbong Marcos has already lifted out the public health emergency in the entire Philippines, no? So we did not actually, with that, hindi na masyadong stricto with the wearing of face mask, no? But in our schools, no, especially here in the division of Zamboanga del Sur, we still need to practice the mask, no, the use of masks, especially when our learners or teachers who are involved in the NLC are having signs and symptoms of respiratory infections, which are still communicable, no? Kasi if they do not do that, baka the whole of the learners and even the teachers would not be able to go to school because they have fevers and other signs and symptoms of respiratory infections.
We want to ensure the health of our learners and our teachers.
Yes,
That is our first priority.
That is our first priority. And one of the things that we really advocate here, no, not just during the NLC, but even in the entire school year, kahit po noon pa, sir, we have this washing school program wherein we advocate the proper hand washing out there, right?
Yeah, correct. And our schools, meron sila kanya-kanya wash time.
Yes po.
Until now, they have that.
They almost all of our schools, or a higher percentage of our schools, already has these different wash stands. Hindi lang po wash stands, kundi functional wash stands po. May mga water talaga. Water facilities program. Yes po. So we are still having this program even during the NLC because hand washing is said to be the universal precaution. Ito yung pinaka first defense natin so that we would not be able to get or being infected by different infections or communicable diseases.
And it is monitored by our nurses.
Yes, we are all monitoring that every day as we go on to the different schools that we are assigned in.
Kumbaga, if you have to sum up the statement that you have said, prevention is always
Better than cure. That's true, sir. That is true, therefore, sir. And I would also like to remind our teachers, if they have students, who have symptoms of communicable diseases like sore eyes, chicken pox, and what do you call this, the hand, foot, and mouth disease. If they have seen learners na may mga signs and symptoms of this, or if they are not sure of that, they could call the attention of their district nurse to assess that certain child or that certain learner, so that this learner will be advised. They will be advised for a check-up, or even our medical officer, Dr. Vince Aliman, would be able to help with these learners who have this kind of these infections. Even teachers as well, Ma'am Kat, So if they have these learners na may mga ganun, they have these kind of symptoms or diseases, please do not let them get inside the school or let them come home. But with the, we have to also give consent.
Consent of the parents.
And meron din tayo nurses standby.
Yes po, ma'am, especially in the district.
School.
And we also have, I guess,
teachers, clinic teachers. So sometimes they're also serving mental health ganon. So the nurses are very welcome kung sino yung pwedeng mag-contact sa kanila.
Ang gandang pakinggan, no?
Yes.
Kasi as I was listening, we can see in the picture that if CID people are looking into the content and how the lesson shall be delivered to the pupils, our concern also in the STOD is looking into the safety, the condition, the safety of our learners and pupils. And that is balance, no? There should be balance. And we are doing this in order for our pupils to go to school every day. Kasi no matter how good might be the preparation, kung hindi healthy yung bata, hindi mag-success ang program.
Based on the video clips that was presented earlier, makita talaga natin na during the first week of the implementation of the NLC, handang-handa talaga ang Zamboanga del Sur Division.
That's true po. Kasi we cannot do anything if we are not healthy enough to go to school and to do the job of teachers in school if they are not healthy enough. Because sabi nga sa ating mga DepEd orders, we are always trying to get into the welfare of both our learners and our teachers. Kaya diba? We have to provide safety environment to our learners.
Okay, so thank you, Nurse Gwen. So I think our chief will also be explaining this next question. So the people in the field are asking, so what might be that particular mechanism that our schools division office is using to ensure that this NLC has been implemented religiously as planned?
Magandang tanong, Sir Tom. Yeah. So, gaya na sinabi mo kanina, merong magandang interface and relationship between the two functional divisions. Yeah. We conducted monitoring to the schools, the districts, and we gather feedback. We listen to the statements or the problems if there are sa mga teachers natin. Then after that, we had our interfacing with the SGOD section regarding on the feedback that we have gathered sa field. Then we settle, we find solutions, para po ma-address yung mga problems na nag-gather po natin sa field.
Kumbaga, the work of the STOD people will not end only until monitoring, but we also have to find ways to address the issues that are being encountered.
Dinadala po namin at saka dinala doon sa mga taong frontline na may mga maraming solusyon.
Correct.
So, kasi sila ang frontline. And andyan kami palagi sa likod nila.
I'm sure our teachers are very happy to hear your words, Chief. They can really assure that they are
they can feel the care.
They are taken care of.
They are being taken care.
Totoo po yan, Sir Tom. Kasi natutuwa nga tayo na may mga teachers na nag-volunteer.
Correct.
No?
Ang dami
may mga teachers na talagang committed po na makatulong sa ating mga learners. Kasi alam po natin na nagkakaroon po tayo ng pandemic, na merong mga learning gaps, may mga learning loss, and this NLC, this program is to support with the National Recovery Program.
Yes.
And dapat talaga magtutulungan ng tatlong functional divisions. Kasi nakikita po natin yung init, ng support ng top management na walang tulugan, walang kainan, para lang po sa implementation ng program na ito at para po ma-address yung learning loss, para to support the learning recovery program. At ang mga teachers po natin, talagang mula po sa puso ko, nagpapasalamat po talaga ako sa mga teachers natin dahil ibinibigay po nila ang kanilang commitment para sa ating mga kabataan. Alam ko po, meron kayong mga travels, cancel, may mga teachers may mga schedule po na magpapacheck up siguro sila, pero ginagawa po nila itong program na ito as their top priorities para po sa ating mga learners. Talagang nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyo na parang sa palagay ko nga, mas marami yung volunteer teachers natin kaysa mga learners. So, yan po, napakagandang manifestation po yan sa ating mga positive attitude towards our love towards our leaders.
Very well said. Very well said.
In the case of teachers who are assigned in the highlands or far-flung areas, Chief, are they allowed to serve in schools nearer to their residences during the implementation of the NLC?
Ang implementation po ng NLC ay school-based. So, mas maganda sana na doon ka lang po sa iyong school where you are assigned. So, kung sa school po nandiyan na hindi na kailangan yung teacher, so hindi na siguro siya pupunta. Kung gusto niyo magpunta sa ibang school dahil nangangailangan doon, siguro risky on the part of the teacher to travel going to that school. So kung sa school mo na walang bata, wala learning camp na mangyayari. Kahit may teacher na interesado, pero wala namang bata. Ang services mo ay kailangan doon sa kabilang school. So, gaya ng sinabi ko, it's a risk to travel. At saka wala naman tayong budget for traveling allowance or expenses of teacher for traveling from one school to another.
Alright.
So, sa school-based na siguro na.
Kasi napaka-risky din sa part ng teacher. So, bakit pa siya pupunta sa kabila kung kailangan din naman siya sa kanyang school?
So, I encourage na lang ng teacher na maghanap ng bata na
Correct.
nangangailangan sa kanya dyan sa kanyang school.
Correct.
He or she is assigned.
So, in case of local paid teachers, this question has been circulating also in the field, and we need to address this to be informed, to let them inform, to give them this information coming from us. So, are they allowed to handle classes? Yung mga local paid teachers natin?
Okay. Ang priority natin yung mga national paid teachers natin. Sila ay makakatanggap ng mga incentives like food allowance, like service credits, kasi national paid teachers sila. But yung mga local paid teachers natin, kung wala na talagang national paid teachers, pwede silang mag-participate, mag-volunteer, pero may mga considerations, may mga dapat din natin tingnan kung yung mag-volunteer na local paid teachers, kung andyan po ba siya sa RQA. No? Kung andyan siya sa RQA, tapos nagkakaroon ng shortage of teachers sa school na yan, so pwede siyang ma-hire. But ang matatanggap lang po niya ay isang certificate issued from our division for the services that she or he has.
Okay,
That's
now,
clear.
this is very clear.
Alright, this next question is for our nurse, Quay. Is it obligatory for nurses to visit all schools during the whole duration of the activity?
Yeah, ganito po yun siya, Ma'am Kat. The nurses does not have any vacation leave, same as with the teachers, because you are part of the non-teaching personnel of DepEd. No? So even though we are on the end of summer break or yung sa parang vacation ng schools or this NLC, we are still obliged to go to schools to monitor our teachers who are there, especially now that we have also learners. No, we can still do our health assessment of our learners, health profiling to our teachers as well. So we can still conduct the visual acuity test, the hearing test, the physical exam of our learners from head to foot. Yun po yung ginagawa regularly ng nurses. Because we have
NLC.
Yes, kahit walang NLC po, we are doing health assessment. So, because during this time, this summer, this break, we have learners, so we will still be conducting this regular services that we are giving out to our learners during the NLC. At the same time, we could also be invited as the one who will be handling psychosocial support activities. That could be possible if you will have to talk your district nurses, and then you will find time as to when he or she will be getting into the activities, the field activities, because we are very willing enough to be part of the NLC. Right? So maybe not all schools, kasi Ma'am Kat, we have one nurse who are serving around 36 to 38 schools, no? So we cannot cater to all the schools in a specific period of time lang po, because we also have other services to be giving out here in the division office. Also, we became welfare officers on different trainings conducted by CIDs and different activities, even for the athletes who are in Marikina City. There are still nurses who are with them, not serving our athletes to ensure the safety and welfare of our students. So, day and night, 24/7 on the service po talaga yung ating mga nurses. Even in the NLC, we can always
serve with a heart.
Yeah, that's true po,
To be great and smart. Okay, in connection with day and night services rendered by nurses. So, some people in the field has been asking if ever these nurses also who will be serving during NLC will receive the same benefits as of the teachers, regular teachers are receiving, just like service credit, meal allowance, or anything. Are you also receiving that kind of benefits?
I guess Ma'am Gay would
Sige.
will need to answer those questions.
As I read in the DepEd article, it states there, it's only teachers.
Teachers.
Kung wala na sa akin. Ibibigay ko sa nila. But it says in the DepEd order that only teachers will be given those incentives of meal allowance and service credits. But the monitoring or visiting schools are part of their itinerary.
Part of the care agent.
Yes po. We would still be serving the NLC even without those
Wow.
incentives. Even without those incentives.
That's why I said they are serving with a heart.
With a heart.
Even without incentives.
That's right po. Because that's part of the job that we're getting into as school nurses po.
Isang saludo para sa mga nurses.
Nakakatawa talaga ng puso na makinig sa
But
statement.
I guess all of the SGOD people are serving the NLC even without those
With a heart.
incentives, right, sir? Kasi nakikita natin even our MNE,
the
the HRT, the
Lahat.
Yes. Ang strongest drive talaga natin is yung commitment eh.
Yes, because our chief is also committed, diba?
Because I'm guilt.
With a heart.
Planning I research, the sophomore, the SMME, no? And the sports section and the health section are giving their 100% support
All
to
right.
the implementation.
Certainly, our morning is overflowing with substantial information that are very helpful to our teachers and to everyone who are directly involved in the implementation of the National Learning Camp.
One of the indications manifesting the warm and welcoming response of our pupils, teachers, and stakeholders are the compositions of the different jingles in our school districts.
I am inviting our viewers to stay tuned and stay where you are because we will be playing different style of the NLC jingles composed and sung by our teachers and pupils.
Talagang nakaka-proud because in the field right now, they are not just composing jingles, but they're also composing that panunumpa, no? An oath that is being done by the pupils and the teachers. It's their initiative. Talagang nakahawa, no, that the energy of our top management is really contaminating the people in the field.
Let's watch this.
Sumama ka na sa NLC, gusto sa fun activities. Hindi ka na mag-iisa, kaming lahat ay iyong kasama. Parehistro na sa NLC, gusto sa fun activities. Magbasa, sulat, magtula ta, alina mo sa NLC. Kahakin na ang daan kung saan may matutunan. Sabay-sabay nating ihayag ang kaalaman. Dahil NLC, let's do some fun activities. Hindi ka na mag-iisa, kaming lahat ay iyong kasama. Parehistro na sa NLC, let's do some fun activities. Magbasa, sulat, magdula, ali na mo sa NLC. Maglisod man ay kabalaka, niya imong higala. Magdula mga tawa, maglingaw bisan asa. Ating ipakita, ating ipadama, bukas ay kaganda, lahat ng to ay kayang-kaya. Hangin na ang daan kung saan may matutunan. Sabay-sabay nating ihayag ang kaalaman. Dahil kung tayo sama-sama, di na mahihirapan. Kaya ikaw, ako, tayo, halina. 1, 2, 3, go! Sumama ka na sa NLC, let's do some fun activity. Hindi ka na mag-iisa, kaming lahat tayong kasama. Parehistro na sa NLC, let's do some fun activities. Magbasa, sulat, magdula, ali na mo sa NLC. Parehistro na sa NLC, let's do some fun activities. Magbasa, sulat, magdula, ali na mo sa NLC.
National Learning Camp. Tara na! Learning Camp tayo!
And now we're back in our studio. This time we have our SGOD Chief, Dr. Gay Asugas Abduhan.
Okay, so as we move on, as we continue with our discussion this morning, Chief, we are glad that you are here with us until the end of this episode. So all of us, people from the SGOD, people from the CID, and even people from the OSDS Functional Division are involved in the implementation of this NLC. So the program kicks off last Monday, and we have observed the warm reception of the DepEd people and even from our community. So based on the monitoring done for the first week of its implementation, so what are your general observations? Ano ang na-observe natin na masasabi natin na ganito pala ang produkto na natin pinaghirapan from planning until the time sa walang tulugan?
Yes.
Anong nakita natin na produkto mula sa ating pinaghirapan na pagpaplano?
Nakakapagpatabak ng puso.
Okay.
Yan ang ating ang implementation, no, sa ating mga teachers. Imagine that, as if they are being given an earth, pero nakikita natin yung produkto, yung puyat ng mga working team, ng mga task force, nakikita natin sa pamamagitan ng kanilang
sa pamamagitan sa kick-off.
All the balloons.
And the tarpaulins, what else ba? No? Sa field. No? The excitement ng mga teachers, ng mga bata, they are having boodle fight after after
After the motorcade. Dari corrida.
Even our stakeholders are involved, nagluluto sa school.
Yes.
Maybe it's yet too early to make predictions on the outcome, but as of now, in your own point of view, based from the things that we have observed during our monitoring, can we say that we can attain a resounding success for these activities?
Certainly, yes. I am sure of that.
Very
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Because in our monitoring, we have seen how these teachers implemented the suggested unpaid activities.
Correct.
And the pupils were excited. Talagang nakikita natin.
Very evident.
Actually, nag-grow pa yung enrollees natin. May nagpapa-enroll just this week. No? So, very excited and definitely we are learning while enjoying the activity.
Yes, nakikita din yan sa mga posts sa Facebook,
Yes.
no, that children are really enjoying the activity they are playing, no, while learning. So, would you like to say parting words to our viewing public, Chip? Parting words.
Okay. So, I would like to congratulate to all who are participating in the implementation of this National Learning Camp, especially our teachers, our school heads who are always behind their teachers, the parents and stakeholders, or also LGU. Kasi may mga LGU tayo, may mga barangay LGU tayo nag-sponsor ng feeding para sa mga learners, no? Hindi nga lang lahat, pero meron talaga mga LGU, barangay LGU na nag-sponsor ng feeding para sa mga learners natin sa learning camp. And I hope that you will continue and sustain the good things that we have just started. And para sa bata, para rin sa bayan. Sure.
Talagang sure sa sure. No, so, I am so elated with the ideas that we heard from our guest today, Kat.
Same here, Sir Ton. This episode is indeed very informative, very meaty, and very inspiring.
It's now time for us to share our takeaways for today's discussion.
Yes.
What is yours?
Mine was the interfacing. It should be present because when we do things hand in hand, success is just a step.
And mine is also collaboration, the term collaboration, because we cannot do these things alone.
Correct.
We cannot work this in isolation. We need the support of every functional division.
Thank you, Chief.
And thank you also for inviting me.
Yes.
Okay, so thank God for another fruitful episode. This is Tony.
And my name is Kathleen, saying,
National Learning Camp, suportahan para sa magandang kinabukasan ng mga kabataan.
Sure!
Sa SUR. Teach
And learn.
Learn and teach with the heart
to be great and smart. Sure sa SUR. Thank you. Till next episode.